Well, let's talk to the Inner City Federation again. General Secretary Siyabonga Mahlangu is back with us. Thank you very much, Siyabonga, for coming back to the program. I know we had to go to the Johannesburg CBD at the time that we started our interview, but you were just sharing with us, what typically goes on in the hijacked buildings vis-a-vis, people who are sometimes not even allowed to stop living in some of these places.
Yes, if we talk of, firstly, I would like to clarify the meaning of the word hijacked, because the city officials most of the time use that term in a wrong way. There's hijacked buildings and occupied buildings. So, in the occupied buildings, it's where people are residing, no one is collecting rent. In hijacked buildings, it's where there's someone that's collecting rent. In most cases around CBD, the buildings are not hijacked, they are occupied. In the ones that are hijacked, we report that to GCs, which is a unit that deals with property hijacking within the city, but nothing they are doing with that. So whenever there is this incident like this one, they will be saying this property is being hijacked, of which is not true. Now they are saying in this incident, this property was reported in 2019 that it's being hijacked. What did they do?
Yeah, we heard from city officials a little bit earlier on that, in fact, arrests were made. The matter had even escalated to the court, and they've made an undertaking to come back and give some answers. And it's interesting, the distinction that you make. But having these conversations are so important for us to understand just how many organizations are involved in trying to resolve the housing situation, especially in the inner city. And again, you're talking to us about units that you would typically report to the city to highlight, this building has been hijacked, do something about it. And what I sense you saying is that it goes nowhere.
Yes, they do nothing. Even there is some buildings. We've got cases that we report to the city. City didn't do something. We went to SABC. Even Hawks, even minister's office were informed about those properties, but nothing has happened. So now, for them, what they are saying in this instance, I want to focus about what happened today, is that they said the property was hijacked, someone was arrested, but they didn't comply with their own bylaws. Section 7 of that building's bylaws, where they have to go and do inspection, see if the property is acceptable or not, and then relocate people. They didn't do that. They waited for such incident to happen, and then after, they will blame some people that are trying to get the housing crisis being resolved in an amicable way.
Well, we heard from one of your organization's partners, Abahlali Basi Mjondolo. Tapela Mahapi was talking to us a little bit earlier on and saying that potentially, and this is a story we want to actually pursue, that some of these buildings where rentals are being collected are possibly implicating city officials. So that's a story we must come back to. But I really just want to go, Siyabonga, back to the experience that you had begun sharing with us of being on the scene this morning when the deceased were being taken out of the building, watching that tragedy unfold. And this is where, the story is not just a bunch of words on a piece of paper. It's when you see the effects and the impact that it has on families.
We went there. We even also communicated with MMC of Health and Safety from the city of Johannesburg. We saw the bodies of the people lying on the street when these firefighters, they were trying to rescue them. On the other side, the SABC were fighting with the members of those family members of those people, and they were trying to say, guys, our people, they were in there. Which way we can use to go and identify their bodies? But the thing that I saw there, they showed no sympathy. They're being chased away in a way that I can say they're being assaulted because they were being pushed away. I was also being pushed away by one of the POPs members in that instance. But what the MMC said to us, it was not even the first time to communicate with MMC. He said that we are trying to resolve the situation, but it will take a long time to be resolved because of lack of funding that we received, of which we will continue seeing such incidents happening around the city of Johannesburg.
And that was really going to be my follow-up question, Siyabonga. When you look at a tragedy like this that has really gripped the hearts of our nation, really, so many people just completely, traumatized and really gutted at what we've seen unfold today. The question is, and you're close to this because you work in this environment, how many other buildings would you say are at risk of something like this happening, especially when you consider that some of the evidence in what happened today shows that the building was locked, and this seems to be a typical practice of keeping people locked inside?
We can count. There was the one that was 2 months back, Florence, similar incident happened. We've got one that is at Corner GPN Nugget, 2017, similar incident happened. Is the one that I still remember. Okay, Ningilosi House at Oriel Street, similar incident happened. Kirritville, Sopa and 5, similar incident happened.
And it's not too far-fetched to think that this is not the end of such tragedy in places like this.
No, it's not the end. Because when we try to negotiate with the city, we've been sending out letters since from 2017. We even went to 702. We requested that from ex-mayor Herman Mashaba. He said that he will sit down with us and then talk. We're only saying, please come on board, work with us. The communities are willing to meet the city halfway, of which how they can contribute in terms of renovating those properties that they are residing in. Because not all of them that they are city-owned, but others they are privately owned. But until today, nothing has happened. I think last year, our last letter that we sent to Mayor's office, we got a response that says the issues that we want to address with the Mayor, it's not the issues that's supposed to be addressed with the Mayor.
Yeah.
They have to go via what councillor? They responded that in black and white.
Just a quick one before I let you go. Siyabonga, as you're talking and as, we're kind of piecing this entire story together, would you say, based on your experience, your work in the space for years now, that this is where, coalition politics can have deadly consequences, or would that be too far-fetched from your vantage point?
Yes, I can say that because no one is willing to be held accountable in such instances. Even now, you can go to the city, you can't even find a stationery. They will tell you that there is no one who's willing to come on board and sign for the stationery. Even in the housing sector, same thing applies.
Siyabonga Mahlangu, thank you very much for talking to us tonight, recounting what he encountered on the scene of the tragedy earlier this morning, the General Secretary there of the Inner City Federation. Let's continue to share your thoughts in response to our question of the day, which is about the developments in Marshalltown in the Johannesburg CBD.